The Detroit Lions had one of the longest playoff droughts in all of the NFL, which they finally broke about half a year ago by winning a playoff game at the best place imaginable, Ford Field. It only took 31 years, but they finally did it, and now I think this team is going to win the Super Bowl this season and become a dynasty. Okay, maybe not a dynasty. That might be a bit too aggressive, but they are definitely still my pick to win the Super Bowl this season. Let's start with that. Let's start with one Super Bowl victory. And I believe the Lions are still a bit underrated when it comes to the public eye or sports analysis and NFL fans. And I'll be getting into that later in the video. And I'm not just saying the Lions are the best because they're my favorite team. I am strictly unbiased when it comes to my videos. But fuck the Packers. I'm sure that everybody noticed that yesterday the NFL had their 53-man roster deadline. And the Lions official team for the upcoming season is unbelievable. It's definitely the best roster they've had since, I'd say, 2014. When comparing them, the big part that was better 10 years ago was the wide receiver room. Calvin Johnson and Golden Tate, just clear, St. Brown and J-Mo. But now in so many areas, we are a far better team. Tight end room, offensive line, the running back room. The defense is looking very promising this season, coaching staff wise for sure. Now the big things I want to bring to everyone's attention is 2 seasons ago for the 2022-23 season when the Lions finished 9-8, went on an unbelievable run going 8-2 to finish out. They were the youngest team in the NFL. And today, of the 53-man roster, 30 players are within their first 4 years of their career. There's just so much young talent on this team and so much room to still grow. Brad Holmes and MCDC have only had this team for 3 seasons, and it's unbelievable how much progress they have made with changing the team and improving the team. Brad Holmes really is just the best fantasy football manager. He's the best drafter in the NFL. He's great at acquiring talent. And now, of the 53-man roster, 50 players have been acquired by Brad Holmes. 50 of them. Brad's just been doing his thing, making moves, and has created a whole new team from scratch. Brad Holmes is obviously the GOAT, and that's why when it comes to the wide receiver situation, I'm not really too worried about the Lions not having a solid wide receiver 3. St. Brown's a stud, and J-Mo, I think, is going to break out this season. We saw him have some incredible plays last year with the speed, but there's not really that solid wide receiver 3. They just signed Allen Robinson today. I know Donovan Peoples-Jones was disappointing. People said throughout this offseason. I honestly have not watched him play practice at all, but that's what I've seen a lot over Twitter, and he's not on the 53-man roster, so that speaks for itself. Allen Robinson, Tim Patrick, Tom Kennedy, and Peoples-Jones will be the 4 wide receivers on the practice squad. Pretty good set there, and people were pointing out this is a pretty solid practice squad. Overall, not worried about the wide receiver 3 position. Still have Calif Raymond. Isaiah Williams made the 53-man roster after going undrafted. And Laporta's out there, one of Goff's main targets. Gibbs can catch the ball. And I thought this was funny. With the lack of a solid wide receiver 3, I've seen a lot of conversation about the Lions letting Josh Reynolds go. I really like Josh Reynolds. I thought he was really good. Great chemistry with Goff. But I trust Brad Holmes. He has yet to fail any of us. Lions Syndicate here is explaining his concerns with Brad Holmes' logic, and the reply is Brad Holmes is playing 4D chess, allowing Josh Reynolds to go to Denver, so they will have to cut Tim Patrick, and we basically get the same receiver for less money. But I think it's hilarious. But there's no reason to doubt him, nothing to worry about. As time goes on, his past moves look better and better. A year ago, he released Amani Oruwariye, didn't re-sign him. He had a 1-year stint with the Giants, and just yesterday, he was released by the Jaguars. I don't think anyone really doubted that one. Still got love for him, though. Then he traded a former first-round pick, Jeff Okudah, to Atlanta for a 5th-rounder, which everyone grilled him on. But last year, he only started 9 games with no picks. Not that interceptions are everything, but he just didn't have a very solid year. Definitely did not live up to a round 1 draft pick. And this was the Lions roster that Brad Holmes came into just 4 years ago. And he has revamped the whole thing. He somehow has dug us out of the hellhole that Patricia got us into. And he traded away Hawkinson and brought in Laporta, who is a million times better, and I will still never forgive Hawkinson for what he said when he got traded. In ESPN releases about 2 days ago, they asked 103 different NFL players a few questions, and for the most overrated quarterback, Josh Allen ranked first, then Jalen Hurts, then Tua. And they have a list of the top 9 most vote getters. Brock Purdy, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert. You don't see Jared Goff in the top 9, do you? Just remember that. But it is the most overrated quarterbacks, and Jared Goff hasn't had a ton of hype around him over the past few years as a whole. So I understand, I guess, him not being on this list, but still, he's not even in the top 9, and that's the point I'm trying to get across. Is I still think Jared Goff has so many doubters. And then he was voted for 3rd, tied with quite a few others for the most underrated quarterback. Also, an anonymous head coach talked to The Athletic and said, I don't think Goff will ever win a Super Bowl. He's not good enough, and he can't do it by himself. He just has the weapons around him. Skeptics were thinking that it could have been Sean McVay, which would be hilarious if it was him. Either way, though, people just doubting on Goff. He may not be the flashiest quarterback, but he's really consistent. He's been playing great. Have you seen the numbers he's been putting up? He wins games. And then an anonymous defensive coordinator, same article, I don't know who these anonymous coaches are that are just talking shit about Goff, but he said that Goff just has help around him, and if it came down to a 2-minute drive, I wouldn't feel great about him in the situation, which is crazy to say because Goff has been great in the clutch so far, and he's not like Lamar, who just throws a helpless Hail Mary down the field that gets picked. And since 2022, Goff has a 40-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio in the red zone. Insane. And if there's any Bears fans that continue to hate on Goff, I've seen this so many times, and I think I've brought it up before in a past video, but this is just hilarious. And it's 2022 Jared Goff, not even last season. And shout out Freedom Finder, he made the spreadsheet to display the 2023 initial 53-man roster compared to the new 2024 initial 53-man roster. The dark greens are brand new additions to the Lions club, and light greens are that they were employed last year with the Lions, but just not on the initial 53-man roster. For the offensive line, Jackson and Vaitai are gone. I'm happy about that. Jackson would have been extremely expensive, I think, for his skill. Not too many changes offensively. Hendon Hooker is now the QB2, which I'm really excited about. I think he's going to be amazing. I think a lot of other people do as well. And obviously the wide receiver room. Defensively, this defensive line has had some serious upgrades. DJ Reader and Marcus Davenport is going to be unbelievable. Reader with McNeil, he finally is going to have some help. And then Hutchinson is going to have another edge rusher to work with. In the DB room, it's just a total rework. And Davis, Arnold, Robertson, Rakestraw, I mean, these guys, I think all Lions fans agree when I say I love these players and I'm so excited to watch them play, and I think they're going to be so good. This is just some serious upgrades, though. Davis is going to be the veteran, has won a Super Bowl. Terran Arnold, first-round draft pick. He seems super hype. And shout out Prince of Nunya. This is one of the 2021 initial 53-man roster compared to now. Look at how many free agents there are on this list. It's unbelievable. And apparently, according to ESPN, Jake Bates had a lot of up and downs through training camp and preseason. And Jake Fox, not Jack Fox, Jake Fox is an average NFL punter, not one of the best. Okay. The only thing the Lions are missing is a wide receiver 3, which sounds insane. Everything else is, I'd say, perfect. Goff and Hooker, 2 amazing running backs. Some great wide receivers. It might need that 3rd, but we might have found a 3rd wide receiver if Isaiah Williams or Allen Robinson, Tim Patrick turn out great, which there's a lot of hope for. Tim Patrick has played phenomenal when he's healthy, but this upgraded defense is phenomenal, and I think this team is going to win the Super Bowl this year. So much young talent. They could be good for years and years to come. Maybe a dynasty. I think it could happen.